Okay, back to the minhagim of Chodesh Nissan. Okay, we're talking about Mois Chitim and Matzah, make sure everybody gets. Now, the whole month of Nissan, you don't say Tachanun for the whole month. Why? So Shulchan Aruch says because the first 12 days, the Nassi of each tribe, when they dedicated the Mishkan, brought a Chabad, a dedication. And that was a Yom Tov for that day. So the first 12 days goes away with Yom Tov. The 13th day is two reasons. Either it's corresponding with Shevet Levi, or it's the Isru Chag, the day after the Yom Tov have held in the sea and bringing their Chabad. Then you have Erev Pesach, no Tachanun. Then you have the 8 days of Pesach, no Tachanun. So the majority of the month already goes away without Tachanun. So therefore the din is you don't see Tachanun the whole month. So according to our custom, there's no Tachanun. There's no Lamnatseach between Ashur and Volitzion. You don't say Kel Erech HaPayim on Monday and Thursday before Torah reading. Basically, the whole month there's no Tachanun. Okay? Even Shabbos, when you, on Shabbos you don't say Avarachmim, even when you bench, you bless Rosh Chodesh Iyur, not this week, a month from now, you still don't say Avarachmim. Okay, next is like this. You're not allowed to fast the entire month of Nissan. The only exception to that is a chosin and a kala. If they get married on the day in the middle of Chodesh Nissan, so as the custom is in halacha, the chosin kala fast the day they get married. No. Complete fasting from morning until the wedding. After the wedding,
I'm talking about you said you cannot fast. I'm saying some people don't eat but drink.
No, that's not good. So then you're not fasting. In other words, the only reason why a chosin and kala fast, even here's an interesting thing. Normally on Rosh Chodesh, if a chosin and kala get married on Rosh Chodesh, you don't fast. But Rosh Chodesh Nissan, they do fast. Why? Besides the first one, also fast Erev Pesach. Why is it? Because Rosh Chodesh Nissan in history was a little bit of a sad day. We're going to read in this week's parsha, Nadav and Avihu, when they died, was Rosh Chodesh Nissan. Bayir Mashmini was Rosh Chodesh Nissan. And Nadav and Avihu died, so it became a fast for tzaddikim. So because anyway it was not such a happy day. And so Chosin Kala fast, even Rosh Chodesh, but not the day, obviously Pesach, you're not allowed to get married, not even the day Isru Chag right after Pesach. Okay? So no Tachanun from Erev Pesach, Erev Chodesh Nissan, throughout the entire month of Nissan, there's no Tachanun. After davening, the custom is to say the Nassi of the day. In many places, they would even take out a Sefer Torah to do it after davening. In our circles, we don't do that. You just read it, everybody, from a Siddur. It's in the back of the Siddur. You say the Nassi of the day, and then there's Yehi Ratzon that you say following the Nassi. So the question is, what do you say in that Yehi Ratzon? That if I come from this tribe of, let's say, the first day was Yehuda, second day Yisachar. So if I come from the tribe of Yehuda, it should be considered as if I brought the carbon. So the question is, a Kohen and a Levi, who is for sure not from the tribe of Yehuda, right, they're from Levi, so what do they do with that Yehi Ratzon? Do they say it or don't they say it? So now Yom Yom, the Rebbe brings down that the Rebbe Rashab's brother, who was a brother-in-law, who was a Kohen, asked him, do I say that Yehi Ratzon after the Nassi? And he said yes, because it's connected to the thing of Ibur, pregnancy. Which means, number one, in a previous Gilgul, you might have been a regular Jew, not a Kohen or a Levi. Second thing, it says in Kabbalah that neshamas come into other neshamas. It's a whole... Now, the Rebbe speaks about in Tanya also, that if a person was a Beinoni, tries very hard to become a tzaddik, so even though you really can't become a tzaddik unless if you're born a tzaddik, but nevertheless, sometimes if Hashem sees that you're really trying hard, He'll make sure that you get a neshama of ibur of a different tzaddik, that could become a tzaddik. But anyway, bottom line is, even if you're a Kohen or a Levi, you say the Hirotzin after the Nassi. On the 13th day of Nissan, in the Siddur it says, shows you what to say for the tribe of Levi, but you don't say the Yiratzin.
Are there any other occasions where the past neshama comes into consideration in this life cycle?
Yeah, but now that you and I are going to know about.
First time I hear anything like
What?
that. You consider the past state of the neshama.
Gilgal and Neshamas. The Arizal writes that every Neshama has to learn all parts of Torah and do all mitzvahs. And because of that, the Neshama keeps coming down until it learns all parts of Torah and does all mitzvahs, except the mitzvahs of a melech. Or a kohen, some places says. But like this, the Neshama has to keep coming down. But there's one of the Svarim of the Arizal. The Arizal didn't write any Svarim, by the way. The Arizal wasn't shaykh to write, it says. But the Chaim Vital wrote the Svarim for the Arizal. So over there's a sefer called Shara Gulgulim. And over there he brings down a lot of people who is the Gilgul of who and whom. And it's very interesting. And say that Adoyra also brings down usually from Kissi Arizal, that like Rashi ben Utam, if I remember, the Rav and Shmuel. I mean, there's a lot of interesting Gilgulim of who people were. The Gilgulim of Cain and Hevel. It is, huh? Yeah. Well, no. It's interesting about Pinchas Eliyahu. Okay. Let me preface it like this. Without the Torah of Kabbalah, they don't believe in Gilgul. In other words, the Bali Nigla, the people that only don't study secrets of Torah, they do not necessarily hold of the concept of Gilgul. It's a Kabbalistic concept of the Arizal. Okay? So they don't hold of Gilgul B'chal.
So before Arizal, there was no such...
They were, but it was not publicized. The Arizal publicized Kabbalah. So there was no concept. They don't agree with Gilgul. In fact, the Rashad, there are people who say, from here you see that there's no Gilgul. But it's interesting, I was present in the time, I was a Bracha, and somehow somebody told me that the Rebbe went upstairs. The Rebbe's brother-in-law was sitting Shiva, and the Rebbe went upstairs when the Bracha were eating dinner. So the Rebbe went upstairs in the third floor at 770 to his brother-in-law to be Menachem Avol. For whatever reason, I was there and I went up. Anyway, so one of the things that the Rebbe's brother-in-law asked the Rebbe was l'chaira, when the Gemara says Pinchas Eliyahu, that should prove the concept of Gilgul, because Pinchas Eliyahu it means Gilgul. How else would it mean that he's the reincarnation of Eliyahu Navi? So the Rebbe said, no, it's not necessarily a proof, because it could be it was the same person, Pinchas, that lived very long until Eliyahu, and he was talking the same person, same body, same neshama, it wasn't Gilgul. So I remember the Rebbe brother, the Rashag asked the Rebbe, he lived so long, so the Rebbe started throwing out names of people in the Gemara that lived even longer. So it was possible. Now if you hold like Kabbalah, so then for sure Pinchas Eliyahu means Gilgul. But we discussed once before, sometimes it says Pinchas Eliyahu, and sometimes it says Eliyahu Zeh Pinchas. Huh? Sometimes it says Pinchas is Eliyahu, and sometimes it says Eliyahu is Pinchas. So which one is it? Yeah, but Pinchas Eliyahu means Pinchas is Pinchas. He also happened to be Eliyahu, and this is the reverse. So which the chicken, what's the egg, so to speak? So the Rebbe has a few answers. One answer the Rebbe gives, it's in Bakal Kutasichas. One answer the Rebbe gives is that if you're speaking about Pinchas, you say Pinchas Eliyahu. If you speak about Eliyahu, it says Eliyahu is a Pinchas. It depends who you're speaking about. Then the Rebbe answers no. Another answer, not no, but another answer the Rebbe says was, he brings down from Kabbalah that first there was Eliyahu Navi as a Malach. And that Eliyahu Navi became Pinchas. And then Pinchas became Eliyahu. So it's actually Eliyahu was Pinchas and Pinchas was Eliyahu. First there was Eliyahu, At the neshama, a malach, and then Pinchas became a body. So over there you say Pinchas Elio, and then later on is Eliezer Pinchas.
The three were Nevi'im.
They're all the same guy.
And they were both Kohanim.
They're all Kohanim.
You say they're the same.
Huh?
They also had the same thoughts. Maybe they had the same memory.
I don't. I can't speak for those guys.
Does it mean that they're just the same neshama, but not necessarily the same?
If you say Gilgul,
So Gilgal
the same neshama in a different body.
doesn't mean it.
I mean, whatever.
Eliana was a Kohen.
Yeah.
The reincarnation, do they remember what was it? Do they have any affiliation?
There are some of these guys today that they go deep into your hypnosis, and then kaviyachol, you remember what happened the previous time around. Personally, do I believe in it? 100% not. Okay, there's no way you can remember but by tzaddikim, it's a whole different story. By tzaddikim, it's a whole different story, how it works and everything else. Okay, another din of Nissan. Okay, when you go out in Nissan and you see fruit trees blossoming, there's a bracha that you say. That's a bracha that you say once a year. It's one of the three brachas you only make once a year. Huh?
Annual brachas.
Yeah, but it's only once a year. This bracha on trees, you can only make once. The bracha, when you do bedikas chametz, you make a bracha al bir chametz. You make that once a year. And the third bracha, which is once a year, is ladik ner sheyem akipurim. These are the only three brachas that you say once a year. Maybe there's another one, I don't know. Huh? There's more? Huh? What? Okay, Nachem, but that's it's in the Shemona. Okay, Nachem, but there's also partial bracha. Okay, well there you're right. Nachem at Mincha is also once a year. Huh? Yeah. If you miss it, you say the next one, and then you go back to the first one.
First say the next one.
Yeah, that's the day. It's the day it is.
Bracha on Megillah. I know we said it a couple of times.
No, you say it twice, at night and day. No, this is once a year. One time you say the bracha a year.
How about every 18 years?
No, it's every 28 years. And it's not a bracha, it's a bracha that is a ma'aser bereishis. You make it 10 times, 20 times a year. Not in California, because we never have lightning and thunder, but in normal cities where there's lightning and thunder, you make a bracha any time it rains. Kiddush Tavani you do once a month. I mean, whatever.
That bracha is when you first see it, that's when you say it.
Well, when you see it, but it has to be blossoming, it has to be fruit trees, and l'chatchila it's supposed to be two fruit trees. That you see two, no, as long as you can see two fruit trees, then you make a bracha. What happens if you only have one fruit tree? Then you make it on one. But this is not something that you have to go out of your way. In Brooklyn, there's no fruit trees. Okay, I mean, there's no fruit trees in Brooklyn. Okay, so
What are the cats for?
nobody goes to the. Many in Eretz Yisrael, many of the Hasidic Rebbes come to Kfar Chabad to make a bracha on the trees over there. But in Eretz Yisrael, it's not a problem. In New York, in those places, Chicago, there's also no fruit trees. I mean, I grew up in Chicago. I was around the city, and not the.
Especially that time of the year, it's cold.
Yeah, well, this is already warming up, but you don't have it. Okay. Machat shinas on a ma'aser me'er mechar be'bel ma'in kim shablag al teira. Tanan merka Hashem me'er dot to get